You're going to be arrested for filming cops at your own traffic stop or at your own protest, and then charged and face 15 years to life in Illinois or 11 other states. But if OnStar wants to record you and track you and sell it to the feds, that's okay.
Well, then, like this news, if the CDC wants to interrogate you by phone and track your child immunization records and then use those for some kind of government study, or maybe even to build a list of which parents are refusing vaccination policies, how is that list going to be used against you in the future? Look, if you're an InfoWars reader or listener, you know how that's going to be used against you. It's going to be used to round up parents who are against vaccines. Every list that goes into the hands of the government eventually becomes abused.
That raises my last point before I get into your challenge that's coming up next week that I think is an admirable idea. NORML's website, working to reform marijuana laws, feds to legal marijuana, medical marijuana patients. You don't have Second Amendment rights, period. And reading this new extrajudicial letter, they just send it out saying, I don't care what the state law is, you can't sell guns to a medical marijuana card holder, and basically opens the door now to start raiding people, not for their marijuana, but because they're a medical marijuana user and own a gun. This is very, very, very dangerous. And just 3 months ago, they wrote letters saying, we don't have a law, but if somebody buys more than one rifle, call the ATF, even though it's going through an FBI instant background check. It's all about their arbitrary power grab.
Well, as you have stated many times accurately on this show and on InfoWars Radio, your Alex Jones radio show, disarmament is the pathway to slavery. And the ATF realizes that for them to stay in power, they've got to have more guns out there so they can react against it. The DEA realizes that if they want to go after the medical marijuana license holders, the best way to do that is to make sure that they are disarmed first. And the FBI is part of this whole game as well. So this is just another pathway to disarmament of innocent people in America who do have their Second Amendment rights, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with owning a gun yourself. You must admit that people have their First Amendment rights and their Second Amendment rights, and for those to be encroached upon by the federal government arbitrarily, without any kind of law passed by Congress, is yet another violation of your Bill of Rights.
And it is frightening, but I don't take that fear and cower, and neither do you. We realize we got to do something to turn this around. Now, your idea, because we always challenge him, you do, I do, many others do. Hey, environmentalists, stop freaking out over some carbon dioxide that we need to pay Lord Rothschild or Gore. Let's focus on what's really going on. We know cancer is doubling and tripling. We know diabetes is. We know in the studies GMO is devastating. We have proof. The facts are in on this, and it just gets worse by the minute. And so, break down. Just give us a preview of your challenge next week that you're going to have the Natural News team focus on to environmentalists, because this is how the system co-ops legitimate care about our environment, and shunts it off into one area, carbon dioxide. Thus, because it'd be one thing if they were bashing carbon dioxide and then we're upset about GMO and toxic waste dumping or Fukushima. But they don't care about anything that's demonstrably dangerous.
No, Alex, it's a case of selective environmentalism, cherry-picking the topics that they want to focus on and ignoring the real issues that impact us. And there are many of them, and we are going to come out with videos and articles on Natural News next week, and I hope some of that will be published here on InfoWars as well. But look at three simple issues, okay? One is GMOs. If you're not speaking out against GMOs, you can't call yourself an environmentalist, because that's the greatest environmental threat of our time. What about mercury in modern dentistry? Do you know how many tons of mercury are dumped into the environment?
Or in vaccines.
And in vaccines, yes. But just because of modern dentistry and the fact that they still use mercury fillings and put them in the mouths of innocent children, even though they know it will cause neurological damage. What about the pharmaceutical runoff? There are entire rivers in India downstream from the pharmaceutical manufacturing plants that are just running with antibiotics and artificial synthetic hormones.
They found a lot of the shrimp are dying in the Gulf here just from Prozac runoff.
And the fish in rivers and streams and lakes near cities are now contaminated with painkillers and with HRT drugs. Look, these are environmental threats too. And why aren't the environmentalists speaking out against the cancer industry dumping its chemotherapy into the environment through the blood of the people being treated with chemo? Why aren't they talking about mercury in dental fillings? Why aren't they talking about GMOs? And the answer, Alex, is because they have no credibility as environmentalists. They are selective, cherry-picking liars. They don't care about the environment. They just care about one issue that they want to control you over, and that happens to be CO2, because that's where they can make money. It is fraud, and I'm sick of it, and that's why we're exposing it.
Well, I mean, I know you're a great researcher, but I've had so many climatologists, people on, and the media's like, oh, they're oil company funded. Well, I'm not, and I actually see the oil companies, in many cases, are actually funding the carbon tax. I mean, that's the truth, but regardless, I've looked at the record. 200,000 years ago, CO2 was like 14 times higher than it is now. It was 30% of the atmosphere millions of years ago, the ice core studies and show. Now it's
like a fraction.
Well, now it's 0.0360. And clearly it follows temperature increases, then it goes up. And the point is that carbon dioxide is not a toxic waste. And sure, if they weren't doing the GMOs and all this other stuff, like I said, I might listen to them, but the facts are, they admit they're a bunch of eugenicists, and they're the very ones that just want an anti-life agenda to be able to corner the entire global market by taxing this. Mike Adams, naturalnews.com, thank you so much for spending time with us, and thank you for guest hosting the radio show.
My pleasure, Alex. Anytime that I can help your cause here, let me know.
Mike,
happy to join you.
Thanks a million. I am definitely going to want you on next week, and we're going to be obviously posting your articles up at naturalnews.com, over at Infowars.com, because this is very exciting what Mike and his team are doing. We're really changing history together. All of us, you, the viewers, the activists out there especially. And if you believe in this type of information, please take these videos, download them, and spread them to your friends. We'll be back tomorrow night. Aaron Dykes will be guest hosting Infowars Nightly News. Please don't forget to subscribe or to give subscriptions to your friends and family at prisonplanet.tv or InfoWarsNews.com. I'm Alex Jones signing off for the Infowars family. See you back tomorrow.